Hi, everybody. We'll be right there. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. This is the 15-hour buyback live workshop. I am Shantae Bacon. I'm so excited to see everybody here. So everybody's from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. Some of you, this is your second workshop with me. First, we did brand clarity. Now we're talking about building the actual agent to buy yourself time back. What we're building today is your Chat GPT virtual assistant. And then after this workshop, we have two follow-up workshops where we build the automation for emails, and we have another one where we build the automation for proposals and pitch and deck writing. All right, so just to start with me, I'm Shantae Bacon, and who am I anyway to be able to be here teaching you anything, right? I do think it's within your right to ask for receipts and qualifications, and not just to take the word of any guru who is showing up on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, or anywhere else. So I'm Shantae Bacon, a comms strategy expert, and I have spent the last 21 years building a multi-million dollar PR and marketing firm. And we have serviced big blue chip billion-dollar clients like Google, YouTube, Apple TV Plus, Oprah Winfrey Network for 13 years, NBC Peacock, Netflix, and made many large brands. And so we have a national team, a field team, but in recent years, I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient and remove the pain out of entrepreneurship. Because one thing about it is that entrepreneurs are never, they're always underfunded. They're always over mentored, and they're always challenged to deliver on the same level as corporations that have a lot of slush fund for mistakes and disasters, natural disasters, current events, and things like that. But most entrepreneurial ventures do not. And so removing the pain from entrepreneurship is one of my main goals. I am recording live here from Nassau, Bahamas. And happy to have you here. If anybody has any questions, you can always drop them right into the chat. How did I get here? I made a leap from a well paid gig in the music business to um, literally just kind of jumping out on faith. I had a new mortgage, didn't know how I was going to pay the mortgage. I knew I had this entrepreneurial calling. I was thinking about it. I was dreaming about it. I had been planning it. It had started when I was in college and I had not been nurturing it. And after 8 years in the Def Jam marketing department, I was ready to go ahead and pursue it. So I just kind of took a leap of faith and just learned, along the way. In We kind of made a bit, we had certain pivotal milestones, right? So started in 2005, 2009, 10, got our opportunity to break into film. That allowed us to scale our team. Then 2010 to, I would say, 2015, we worked a lot of film and television, a lot of number one movies, not a number one films, a lot of reality TV, a lot of TV period. And then we were um, I would say, really getting earning our PhD in film and television, and we got the opportunity to pivot into tech with a Google RFP. And so we participated, beat four other agencies, and ended up being Google's agency of record for 6, 7, maybe, yeah, 7 years. And then got our opportunity to pivot into politics in 2018 with the DCCC's RFP, and we helped the Democrats win the midterms in 2018. And then got a chance to pivot into streaming in 2020 with Apple TV Plus, NBC Peacock, um, and get heavy into that streaming game. And so that's how I got here. If anybody has any questions about how I got here or what my credibility is, I always welcome people to Google me. It's all there. Okay, faith for the next level. So I always start my workshops off with a good dose of faith because of this reason. Entrepreneurship is going to it is one of the wildest rides where within the span of 24 hours you can have some extreme highs and extreme lows, and if you're not holding on tight, it will shake you to your core. It's going to take a piece of skin out of you. It's going to have your nervous system on fire a lot. And if you're not prepared for it, if you're not rooted in spirituality, anyone who comes along and sounds convincing can shake you and your commitment to your business. There is a real reason why they say, I think it's something like 75% of businesses close in the first 5 years. That's a real number because people get started and they're fired up. They're good at this one thing. They can't even explain it. They do it for fun, do it in their sleep. Then they're able to get paid doing it. But then you have deliverability. And then you realize that no matter how much you pay or who you hire, they're never going to deliver it like you. And now you're a slave to the business. And if you aren't rooted in faith and spirituality, it will shake you to your core. So a lot of people give up for peace of mind, and there's nothing wrong with the folks who give up at all. If they feel like this is hazardous to their health, or it's draining their bank account, or any of the other personal reasons. But staying rooted in spirituality helps. And this is not me preaching to anybody because I don't have any better understanding of the Bible than anyone else. I just know what works for me. And I always start with this type of chapter and verse because it's inspiring to me. This is Isaiah 40:31, and this is a translation, obviously, New Age translation. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. When you are in the thick of entrepreneurship, just these words are so inspiring. If you say them to yourself in the morning, at nighttime before you go to sleep, just remembering that every morning you want to wake up re-energized and recommitted, because that's the only way you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, I've been running this business for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Is because every time those tough times came, you stayed rooted in spirituality, understanding that even if everyone around you is like, she's insane, what is she doing? Does she not see what's going on here? You see what's going on, and because only you are supposed to see it. That's the reality. They're not supposed to understand. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak, and also it's for visionaries. So a visionary can see things that other people can't see. So when everyone else is saying, "Oh my God, this doesn't make any sense at all. What is she doing?" They're not supposed to understand. All right, so let's get into the mindset shift, right? So, AI is not replacing you, it is releasing you. So, this is the point in the workshop where I just want to level set how we're thinking. A lot of people out there either love AI because they think it's going to take all the work off their plate, or they hate it because they're afraid that it's going to infringe on their privacy. They are afraid that it is going to result in the so one person said it was the end of critical thinking or original thought. All of those different fears that are out there about AI. The first thing I always challenge everyone with is, if you don't have any concerns about what our collective addiction to smartphones has done to us, you really shouldn't be concerned about AI. I mean, if privacy is it's so many different levels, but if privacy is your issue, just remember that you're walking around with a smartphone that is essentially a chip up your ass, right? It is a tracker. Commit a crime and see how fast they hit those cell phone towers, and you'll know what kind of tracker you're dealing with. It's essentially something that can tell you your heart rate, your heartbeat, your EKG, your bank account status at any moment, how much money is on your ATM cards, how many steps you took, what was your last 15 to 20 purchases, what concerts you went to. Every single thing is there, right? And so you're walking around with a tracking device on you all the time, worried about AI taking your privacy. That's a little bit like hustling backwards. It is not a problem if you've been walking around with a smartphone. Also, I would say this, if you don't already know that you've been using AI for many, many, many years, like if you've ever had a conversation with Siri or Alexa, you've already been using AI and have had it in your home for a long time. So there's nothing new here going on. What we're doing now is this version of AI is literally democratizing efficiency. And small business owners should not miss out on that. There used to be it used to be that you had to have a lot of resources, a lot of funding, backers, investors in order to have a large team. What this innovation is doing is allowing you, the small business owner, to have a bigger team without spending more on the team. You just have to put the same amount of hours you would into guidance, mentorship, and everything else you would for your team that you would hire, but you're putting it into your agents, and you're getting even more out. You're getting the opportunity to ask it to do something at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., Saturday afternoon, whenever you want, and it's not going to ask you for more money or say it needs a mental health break or any of that. So I'm just trying to level set the fact that mindset wise, AI is not replacing you, it's releasing you. Understand that freedom to actually operate more efficiently for not a big increase in expenses. Also, AI handles repetition. Hi Sandy, how you doing? That's right. It's all tracking us. Sandy, I'm so excited that you came back this week. Okay, so AI handles repetition, you handle revelation. What does that mean? Anything in your business that you do repeatedly, invoicing, proposal writing, having to log the books, having to give updates to your accountant, attorney, to your bookkeeping staff, to anybody, to your virtual assistant. AI is helping you to complete those repetitive tasks, right? You still have to bring the revelation, meaning the secret sauce, the journey, the expertise is still yours. Nothing can replace that. You can't. AI is not going to take that off of your plate. Okay. AI handles drafts. You handle discernment. Now, again, for all of those of us who already know about faith, spirituality, and we rely on it every day, you understand what discernment means and how important it is. For everyone else who may need a little bit more information on discernment, understand that the critical thinking that saves you from losing money, that's discernment in this context, right? It's the part that tells you, I can't afford that. This is too risky an investment. Let me do this so that I don't lose that, right? Discernment. So you have to decide what those things are, but AI will certainly present you with the options, and that's what it should do. AI handles the busy work. You handle the actual genius, the secret sauce, all of that. That's those things you learned along the way on your journey. That's all. That's all coming from you. All right. So, what overwhelms you operationally? We have to ask this question. You know why we have to ask this question? Because if we do not ask this question, we don't know what we're building. It's just that simple. Capacity is where you're going to benefit the most from AI, right? It is literally like one big giant um, dose of energy to your capacity. Everything that wherever you were operating before, you could turn that up several notches. So what we have to first understand is why is there a limited capacity right now comes from, let's say you're a product based business. The amount of time and energy you are putting into inventory management, distribution channels, making sure that you're restocking and you're keeping track of what you have and don't have and making sure to reorder all of those things, and constantly trying to hire people, and or if you have a warehouse that's doing it for you, making sure you're staying on top of them. Those are the things that AI can help you with, because those are the areas where operationally it is sucking your blood dry, right? And so while you're in the middle of doing all of that, coming up with your next new vertical, your next new product line, that's impossible because you're stuck in the operations piece of the business. So it's sucking all of the air out of your, what I call, big braintivity, right? You always hear about big backtivity on Instagram, your big braintivity, the visionary piece of the business, the piece that tells you where you need to be looking 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now in order to grow this business. That's the stuff that stops while you're writing emails, while you're counting inventory, while you're taking care of operational stuff. If you are a service based business, uh, your um, your operational uh, um, drawdowns are coming from managing your team, because the team, usually as you scale a service based business, your team is who you're depending on for deliverability, because you cannot deliver to everyone, right? Also, all of the writing pieces that are part of a service based business. You have to write your marketing materials, you have to write your comms content, and now you have the additional burden of writing all of your social media content, right? You're also doing proposals for new clients. You are doing pitch and deck presentations. You're pitching for sponsorship. You're writing the employee handbook. You're writing all of the SOPs and protocol. All that writing, if you're like me, you have to get somewhere quiet and focused so that you can focus on writing. And if you're running the business during the day, that's just not possible. If you're managing a team throughout the day, you're putting out fires, you do not have time to write all day. And then after you're with your team all day, then you go home and you're momming, you're dadding, you're caregiving, you are managing a house, you're raising kids, you're doing homework, you're doing dinner, you're doing bath. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, after the whole house is asleep, I'm gonna work on it then. I'm one of those midnight moms who's in front of that computer every night at midnight, because that's my most creative time of the day. The world is quiet, so I can get into my creative zone, right? The problem is when you wake up with your face on the keyboard and you have been very unproductive. You have ideas in your head, but just couldn't get them out before the sleep monster came and took over, because you've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning running around. And now it's like 1 a.m. and you've got a creative burst, but somewhere between typing and brainstorming, your face hit the keyboard and now it's 6 a.m. again. So, taking you out of that is what we're trying to do here. Content. Okay, so you might not have signed up for it. And hell, none of us signed up for it, right? But social media is the job that none of us signed up for, but we're all playing ball. Because if you do not, you're not competitive. That's just the way that it shook out. Social media is the biggest beast that you must play ball with, whether you want to or not, because your competitors are and you have to be present. Proposals. If you are in the type of business where there is requests for proposals, RFPs, you must participate in that if you want new clients and new business. You have got to be competitive and creative in your proposal writing. And sometimes proposal writing used to be I have to hire a designer to create the deck design, I have to brainstorm with the team to get ideas, then I have to spend a couple of days writing it in a persuasive way. Now there are AI solutions that take what used to be a 2 week process to write a proposal and turns it into 2 hours. And that is something every entrepreneur should be taking advantage of. Scheduling. If you're a person like me, I scheduling is something that I suck at. I always have. I will say, yes, I'll be on that call. Yes, I'll be on that call. And if the person sitting next to me isn't like, hey, you just committed to so and so 5 minutes ago, I'm like, oh, I want to be focused on the big braintivity visionary work. So the scheduling, I know I'm not good at it, so I don't touch it. I make sure that Calendly is taking care of it. I make sure that whoever is the project lead is making sure. I'm like, you schedule it and I will just join in, because trying to work it around my schedule, we're not doing that. I don't like bottleneck scheduling. But this right here is one of the easiest things to automate with AI and have it check in with you every day. All right, lead generation. For those of us who are out there pitching and who isn't, lead generation, there are several layers of lead generation and dropping folks cold traffic into the top of your funnel. For those of us who understand what funnels are, for those of us who do not know what funnels are, we definitely have some content about what the F a funnel is. And you can find that on my YouTube or Instagram page. Or you could just send me a quick message and I will break that down. But for those of you who are in the sales and lead generation category for your business, you understand converting cold traffic into folks that fall into the funnel and who you want to actually nurture. Lead generation has many layers, right? It could be leads that come from social, it could be leads that come from your email blast, it could be leads that come from your Facebook ads or your Google ads. But either way, that is a multi-layered process that AI can help you with, up until it gets to the point where you're one-on-one with nurturing. The AI can help you from start right up until that point where you're just having a conversation with a new lead. And there, that is going to save you hours and hours in your schedule every week. And F is everything else. And the everything is, that's all the custom stuff that you only know because you're the person who's in real estate, because you're the person who's in construction, because you're the person who is in HVAC, because you're the plumber who owns the business, because you're the marketer, because you're the sales agent, because you're the person in your category who knows all the real specific repetitive tasks that are required of people who do that specific job, right? That's the other stuff. So a collection of all of this is what you can gain capacity on as you build your agents. All right. Why every entrepreneur needs a virtual assistant. So first of all, every entrepreneur believes they need an assistant, but not all of them believe that they need a virtual assistant, because a lot of people think, when you think of virtual assistant, right? If I ask a random entrepreneur in Harlem, New York, or anywhere else, the first thing they think of is someone who's in the Philippines or someone who's overseas, and I have to pay them $3,000 a month to go ahead and, yeah, my friend is having big success with a virtual assistant, but she's paying $3,000 a month, right? So this changes the game a little bit. It's still virtual. It's not a human body or a person that you meet with every day. But this is an assistant that knows you, can constantly be trained to know you better every day, to know your writing style, to know your voice, your tone of voice, to know what you like in your business. And it will not ask for a pay increase. It will not cost you $3,000 a month. It will not say, I'm only working 8 hours today. And if there's anything else, I have to move it to tomorrow. It will not do any of those things, right? And so that's why you need a virtual assistant agent, right? Because you need an assistant that will take your stuff from 0 to 85. That's what I always tell everyone. The reason why you need an assistant is because starting everything from zero is sucking the blood out of you, your free time, your visionary work, and your business overall, right? If you have to start everything at zero, like that's just not the way. You want something that is going to take you from 0 to 85, and then that last 15% where the business is won, where the business grows, where the vision is executed, that comes from you. That's the secret sauce, that's the expertise, that's the journey, that's the genius, right? That's all you. But you do not have to be the person to take it from 0 to 85. You do not need to be that person. Nope. And you don't need to be paying more money than you have to someone to take you from 0 to 85. It is possible. When was the last time you got something from a human assistant that was 100% correct? Never. They are giving it to you 0 to 85 as well. Only you're paying them $75,000 a year. This time you're getting it 0 to 85, but you're paying $20 a month for your agents. I'm just saying. It will help you brainstorm. In a brainstorming session, right? You have to rely on the person who is taking the notes in the meeting. And usually it's an assistant who you hopefully train them how to take notes when creative ideas are being thrown around the room. But you're just on a wing and a prayer that they're going to come out correct. Here, not only are all the notes being taken by your AI agent, but they're brainstorming along with you and pushing you. You could say, push me harder, give me a level 5 upgrade. What do I need to do to get the best possible results for my target audience? All of that can happen in your brainstorming session with your agent. And when your agent is trained on your business, you're getting some custom stuff that you can't get. I'm sorry, you're just not getting from a human assistant. It would need to be someone who comes to the table with your level of expertise, your journey, and your years of input for them to give you what this agent is giving you based on your writing and your tone of voice, your documents, and everything else that you've uploaded. That's just the facts. Organization, next level organization. You can come off of a call, have your otter download the notes, literally delegate the tasks, put them into a grid, and then have the agent follow up with you. Did so and so do that job? Did so and so do that thing that was due by Tuesday, and follow up with you every morning, give you a gentle nudge, or nudge you to nudge someone else? Or connect your chief of staff agent to your other agents and let them nudge each other. Okay. That can happen. So we're working on that as well. Refinement. Okay. Refining and refining and refining. Nothing here is one and done. Not one thing. It is not, I built my agent, everything's perfect, I'm going to move on, that's it. No, that's not the way it's going. So Otter of Sandy, Otter AI has already been doing the things that I just mentioned to you. They already have that. So, like, if you have used Otter on any of your calls, you could use Otter. They have other ones too. But at the end of the call, when you get the notes, look at the notes and ask for delegation. That's all you're doing. It's gonna say so and so said they're doing this, and so and so said they're doing that. Like, just push it. Refinement. Nothing is one and done. You're not going to fix your agent and then all of a sudden everything is there. But are we training AI to take our ideas and creativity that AI can then share and use with others? Hi, I don't know who you are, but Building Doors VO, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you being on, and this is a great question. So let me answer this for you. But are we training AI to take our ideas and creativity that AI can then share and use with others? There are actual settings in your Chat GPT and your Claude that it asks you, is it okay for us to share the content of these conversations with the wider world of Chat GPT or Claude in order to make it better? And you must always cut those buttons off. So it never takes your information, your private conversations, and shares them out with other people outside of your group. That's one of the first settings I set on my Chat GPT like 3 years ago. Like, it will not share your conversations if you ask for it not to. It just is your private Chat GPT conversations. Okay. And we could definitely talk more about that. Um, yeah, Zoom does do it too, Sandy. And also training AI to take our ideas. So here's the thing. This is a whole other conversation, but this is for Building Doors. Sorry, there's a boat going by if anybody hears that loud noise. I'm in Nassau, Bahamas, and the boats over here are just a little loud. Okay, so regarding the idea of AI taking our ideas, so one thing for entrepreneurs everywhere, all over the world, right? One thing you have to take off your plate because it holds you back and it also drains your creativity is worrying about somebody taking your ideas. You do not have to worry about that, I promise. The reason why you don't have to worry about that is because ideas, like if you're an entrepreneur, and you are constantly ideating on new ways to do what you do best or to grow new tentacles or verticals in your business, you are better and bigger than one idea, right? If all you have is one idea, you have bigger problems than the person who's going to steal that one idea. That's just real talk. And anyone who's worked for me over the last 20 years can tell you that I've told them that 100 times. If all you have is one idea, you'll have bigger problems than the person who's going to steal that one idea. You have to have a constant, you have to keep yourself in your flow mode so that you constantly are able to think creatively, think of things that don't currently exist, think of ways of doing what you do different and better, faster and cheaper. And that will keep you creative all the time and not worried that something will take your ideas. Will AI take your idea? Probably not, only because AI is scraping these LLMs are large language models, right? That's what AI is built off of, meaning that it scrubs the World Wide Web. That idea is somewhere on the World Wide Web, somewhere. It's who does it have value to? And if you're able to present the value in the right way, you never have to worry about anybody taking the idea. So I'm not going to beat that to death, but that's just my 2 cents on that. Um, and golden info. Okay, got it. All right. So refinement, like I was saying, is the art of constantly improving something. You're not gonna fix it once and then that's it. That's it. Is over, and you never have to go back and fix it again. That's definitely not gonna happen. What will happen is that you are probably going to um look at the output that you get from your chat GPT and refine that and refine it some more. And that is totally okay. And then scheduling, like I said, one of the easiest things AI can help anybody with is scheduling. There's apps like Calendly, there's other things, there's Google Calendar plugins, there's all kinds of things and ways that it can help you with that. Okay. Hold on. Kiwi! Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, so I'm going to the next page of Kiwi. Building your chat GPT virtual assistant. All right, so building your assistant, you will, this is a live workshop where we're working on trying to build the assistant. And if you want to build it in real time, you can build it now. If you want to take notes, screenshot, and try to build it later, that's fine too. We can do that. It's all up to you. It's a live workshop. This is a workshop, not a learn shop. So if you want to work on building it as we speak, then that's fine. Okay. All right. We're going to take a 2 second break, and I will be right back. Okay. So sorry. So when you are just a real quick note, I am a mom. I'm also a caregiver, and that means taking care of my own mom. And so when she calls, I definitely make sure I take every call because I need to make sure that she hears my voice and knows that I'm here for her, and I'm sure that some of you can identify with that. Just have to take a quick mom call. All right, step one, deciding your assistant's role. So, this is the most important thing because if we don't get this part right, your assistant cannot help you at all, right? So, here is where we're going to start with this. What repetitive tasks drain me? Meaning, if I could pay an assistant to take these off of me, what would that be? What takes me too long? What do I procrastinate on? Like you want to make sure that these questions are answered thoroughly. Like even if you did a brain dump rant into your chat GPT or your Claude about the things that drain you every day, even if you take the download your Claude and your chat GPT to your phone, and as you're doing the task, even if you're complaining, whatever you're feeling, dump it into the chat GPT. Chat GPT, this is just today's rant because I'm so tired of doing the blah 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 thing in my business. This is something someone else could be doing, right? Dump the rant and then go back and find out what pieces of that can be delegated, right? Sometimes, if you're like me, when your head is in it and you're doing it in the moment, afterwards somebody will say, well, what part of that can we automate that somebody else could do? And you'll be like, I don't know, the thing that I do, because you're doing it without thinking. So when you record the rant while you're doing it, and I got to do the so and so, and I got to do the blah blah blah, you're literally creating the building blocks for your SOPs so that you can hand it off. Has everyone seen that movie about McDonald's, right? And how it was built? McDonald's was built on one big collection of SOPs, standard operating procedures. Basically, this is how we do it, and no matter what store it is, if it has that McDonald's logo, this is how we do it. That's what you're doing with whatever business you have. You're recording your rants because you do it well without thinking, and to you it's a repetitive, annoying task, but at the end of the day someone else is learning how to do it, so they need to see the actual breakdown of how you do it. So, you want to make sure you say what repetitive tasks drain you, what takes me too long, what do I procrastinate on. So, I'm going to just give you some examples for service based businesses only, right? So, your email drafter, right? If emails are a drain on your day, you can start using small apps like Whisperflow, right? I don't write anything anymore. Am I a good writer? Absolutely. Do I think writing is a critical skill that everyone should have? Absolutely. I've written for many years. However, it's so much faster for me to do a brain dump right into Whisperflow, and it will format it, correct it, bullet it, list it, put it in whatever format I say, and then put it right into the email, the WhatsApp, the text message, or whatever other format that I need it in, even right into Instagram so that it's writing your caption as you're reading it out. It can do all of those things. It can even fill in your Claude or your Chat GPT. You want to use those things so that email is not as painful. Again, you're getting from 0 to 85 with the AI, and you take it the other 15% of the way. Proposal writing. If you're competing against other agencies for proposal writing, it is critical that you are creative, innovative, and you're bringing high value and new experiences to your proposals. This is very difficult for some people. That's why in service based businesses, there's not a lot of competition, because the people who are really good at proposal writing and really good at winning business, they have understood that most people don't want to read. They want you to paint the picture for them, stimulate the five senses, just illustrate the experience with as few words as possible, right? That's what wins. That's what the winning proposal has in it. Okay. Client onboarding assistant. So the client who is new needs to be onboarded, needs to understand your agency or your company's SOPs. That person needs the same experience that your top client got. As your Every single client needs to be getting a very consistent experience, and client onboarding is one of the top ways AI can help you, so that you're delivering a consistent experience to everyone. Social caption writer. I don't care who you are, what you do, or what kind of business that you have. You're playing the social media game. Don't tell me you're not, because I know you are. I'm not saying you're loving it, but you're doing it. I'm not saying that you're doing great at it, but you're doing it. This social caption creation or social cadence planning, like how often am I going to post? What am I going to post? What value am I going to bring? Who am I speaking to? What is this for? What do people who are looking for real estate want to hear or see in social media posts? All of that is, again, something that your agent can help you with, but you have to say, this is what I need help with. Script writing. All of these things you want to make a list of so you know for sure where your help is needed. All right, next is step 2. Let's go into Chat GPT. Let's open it up for those who are doing the workshop part of it and they're actually in it. If you don't see Create GPT, then you may have a free account. If you still have a free account, the only way you're going to be able to create your custom GPT is by getting the $20 a month paid account. I am not making a cent off of this. I am just telling you what's the barrier between you and creating your own custom GPTs, which are your agents, right? I'm just letting you know that because I've had some classes where folks are like, I don't see a create button. That would be the reason why. Moving on. All right, if you do see a create button, let's start with a starter prompt. I put together this starter prompt for you. If you don't want to use this and you have your own ideas about a starter prompt, go for it. Okay, I want to build a world-class AI executive assistant for fill in the blank, your business, not mine, right? This assistant should function as a hybrid executive assistant and operations manager. He must manage launches, content workflows, email sequences, calendar priorities, and trend intelligence. He should anticipate tech and digital shifts, think like an MBA strategist, and embody the qualities of top executive assistants who support billionaires. The reason why I put that in there is because I want an assistant that thinks like Richard Branson's assistant, who is managing a global calendar and helping a person who has a portfolio of 150 companies. That person is operating in the most efficient way possible. And that's how I want my agent to think. I need your help building a world class, intuitive, brilliant, nurturing, forward thinking digital assistant who can manage my day to day to do list and help me manage this business. Please tell me what clarifying questions I need to answer so you can help me build the assistant AI agent of my dreams. That is a starter prompt just to get you going. You do see that I repeated, I want to build. I need your help building. Repetition reinforces what we are doing here. Also, please tell me what clarifying questions I need to answer for you. Tells my Chat GPT, my Claude, my Manus, or wherever I'm building my agents, Perplexity, whatever, that I don't want you to go searching the web for what you don't know. I want you to ask me what you don't know, because that's how it fills in my secret sauce. If you don't say that and it comes up with something that it pulled from God knows where on the World Wide Web, you're going to have to circle back and fix it anyway. So just tell it, ask me the clarifying questions. And sometimes you'll say, hey, ask me the clarifying questions. And you will get 10 questions where you have to think very deeply. So it ain't quick, right? It's not supposed to be. You're building an agent that's going to help you build your business. Okay? Okay, let's start with step 1, core purpose and mission. What is the main mission of this assistant? Example, help you stay on top of your to-do list, support client funnel movement, prep for speaking engagements, optimize digital products. All of these things are things that could be on your list. They don't have to be. They're on my list. But wherever you are in your business, if you have a new business and visibility, awareness, and traffic are your biggest concerns, it's going to look a little bit different than this. If you're a sales driven business, funnel management and funnel movement is very important. If you're a product based business and inventory and distribution are your main things, getting the product to the client, totally different. You have to decide for yourself what the core purpose and mission is. And I'm going to be real with you. No one can tell you this. You cannot ask Chat GPT, hey, what's the main mission of the assistant? That's that it can't help you with that. You have to come up with that on your own. Okay, that is stuff that only you can help with. Only you can say, this is where I need help. This is what I'm trying to decide, that what I'm trying to do for this year in my business. Should the assistant behave more like an executive assistant, an operations manager, a creative strategist, or a hybrid? So this is the part of the workshop where I usually have to break down for everyone exactly what your three options are while building an assistant. I have been hiring assistants for, let's just say, close to 30 years, right? And I can tell you for sure, I have seen every type of assistant that there is out there. And there are three types of assistants. There is an executive assistant, executive being the operational work. An executive assistant is a true leader that wants to take initiative, wants to think for themselves, wants to make big accomplishments, wants to achieve goals, wants to take stuff off of your plate. That person wants to make your life easier. They are not afraid of making a decision and being held accountable for how the outcome is of that decision that they made. And they can borderline manage other people on the team as well who are making decisions. An executive assistant is an executive assistant. That is who people, your favorite billionaire, pick one, Mark Cuban, Jeff Bezos, the Zuckerberg guy, Richard Branson, they have executive assistants. Most of the time, they operate like a chief of staff, and a chief of staff is like president of the assistants, and they manage all the assistants, right? And so there's a little bit of a boss quality in there while also supporting all of the different department heads. So an executive assistant is that exact type of person. That's a leader. You want somebody who makes decisions if you are away, a person who can run the office if you are away, almost like a chief of staff. There is an admin assistant. An admin assistant is also very much so valuable and on point, but will not make decisions on their own. An admin assistant is an admin. You're going to give them a list of things to do. They're going to do it. They're going to check everything off the list. They are more of a taskmaster. Like you give them 50 things to do, they're going to come back to you at the end of the day with 50 things done, checked off, and done exactly the way you told them to do it. They're not going to make decisions and be held accountable freestyling on their own. They're going to do exactly what you told them to do, and that works for some people. You don't want them to freestyle. You don't want them to show leadership qualities. You want them to do what you told them to do. That's an admin, right? It'll get done, but if it requires critical thinking, good luck. And then there's the survival assistant. This is a business that's in survival that cannot afford additional. Hold on, take that to your auntie. Take that to your auntie. Momming while entrepreneuring. Sometimes your 5-year old will crash the workshop. So, the survival assistant, either your business is in survival and you cannot afford the kind of assistant that you need, or your assistant is in survival mode and they are interviewing the best that they know how because they are in desperate times. They need a check. They're on the verge of eviction, or they're 10 months behind on their mortgage and they just need a job, right? Now, the person who's in survival is the riskiest hire because they are in such survival mode that they will say anything that they can see that you need to hear in order to get the job. However, there's not a real investment in how the sausage is made because they just need any job. They'll take a job in any industry. They're not married to your industry or how the sausage is made at your business, right? Because they just need a job. And so that person can come into your business and do some real damage. However, if that is what you have, that's what you can afford. That's what you can afford, and you can try to make the best out of it. I could just tell you that it can be the costliest hire that you make. You have to really tightly manage that person and watch them like a hawk because you can't expose them to too much of your information because they don't have any loyalty to you or your business, or it's not even to your process. they can go off the rails, making a decision that doesn't make sense because they never learned the process, so they're just kind of do something to get it done. Just be careful of that. So, core purpose and mission. What is the main mission of the assistant? And me personally, I will tell you that if I'm managing an assistant, if I'm hiring, if I'm creating an assistant, I always want somewhere between an executive assistant meets a chief of staff, meets an operations manager. An operations manager is intimately invested in the process and building the SOPs that are going to help you automate this so that no matter who it is, they can just take the handbook and they can do it the same way every time. A chief of staff is going to make sure everyone's operating efficiently underneath them because it's a reflection of their management. And an executive assistant is going to make the best possible decision for you and your mission that they can based on what they see their boss's desires and needs are. You want a mix of all three. So that's the reason why I always put hybrid in on this page. All right, moving on. If there's any questions, please drop them in the chat. If not, let's keep going. Task management and workflow. What are the top 10 recurring tasks or workflows this assistant should manage for you daily, weekly, or monthly? Let's see. Right here on this page is usually where I make a recommendation to everyone who is reading this to definitely invest in and read The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. There's no book that is going to help you to put time in perspective like the 12-week year. If you're an entrepreneur at all, if you're a human being on planet Earth, we have been so conditioned to set annual resolutions and goals, and then at the end of the year you review them to see if you've done them. And 12-week year throws that out the window, and they're saying make every 12 weeks your year. So here are the three things I'm going to accomplish this in this year, this first 12 weeks. And then you've got three goals. That's it, no more than three. Quick wins. You get juiced up, tanked up, and motivated to go to the next step. The next set of 12 weeks, you set three more goals. So by the end of the year, rather than you having one set of goals for 12 months, you've got three goals per 12 weeks. And now you've gotten 12 tasks done in that year that would have taken you all year if you were on your old timeline. So you definitely want to look at it like that. The reason why that's relevant to this is task management and workflow. What are the top 10 recurring tasks or workflows this assistant should manage for you? Now, depending on how you work, daily is a lot for some people, but it shouldn't be. Because if you want this assistant to, if you want to get the maximum amount of help out of this assistant, you most definitely want to speak to it daily, right? I think weekly is not nearly enough, and monthly is not going to be any help to you at all. It should be able to track deadlines, summarize meetings, proactively flag missed tasks or opportunities, set up and prioritize your calendar for focus and visibility. It should be able to do all of those things, right? And more. So, whatever you decide you need on a daily basis, it should be a different set of tasks that they check in with you on daily, different from weekly milestone check-ins, different from this month we're focusing on cold traffic, this month we're focusing on warm traffic, this month we're focusing on hot traffic, this month we're focusing on trying to do a live every day on Instagram or trying to do a TikTok every day. Like, you set the goals and you set the cadence, but just know more is better. You want to get into the habit of speaking to this assistant multiple times per day, right in your phone. So this part right here, you will set on your own, but you must detail how often you're going to speak. Okay, that's highly important because it's going to be put into the roles and responsibilities and the instructions of your agent, and you want to put it in there. Personality and voice. How would you describe the tone and personality of your ideal assistant? Now, here we are starting with our Chat GPT assistant, but after that, I will have a whole session about building your assistants in Claude, your agents. The thing here's the difference right now. Chat GPT allows you a lot more freedom to dictate the personality and voice, of your agent, and Claude does not. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have fun with it, right? You're describing your agent. Pretty soon I am going to you're going to check back on my Instagram page with this, which is Instagram.com/Shantae Bacon, and you will be able to see what my 9 AI agents look like. I gave them all faces. I made them look like human cyborgs, a little bit of human skin, a little bit of cyborg, like robotic metal on the outside, carbon fiber hair. I mean, I really went there because I wanted to have fun with it because I'm giving a face to an agent that I'm talking to every day. You can do that, and that actually, in my opinion, it motivates you to get into it a little bit more. Or you can do it with Claude. It's called projects, not agents, or not GPTs. And in Claude, you can upload so much information so that it is literally giving you back everything that you've already done, thought, have written, have produced. And Claude is giving you information that is much more custom to your business. But ChatGPT is still a viable, credible, excellent option for the help that you need. So, and when it comes to personality and voice, how would you describe the tone and personality of your ideal assistant? Are they calm and analytical? Are they sassy and confident? Like your favorite project manager who keeps it real but never drops the ball. You can literally model it off of an old assistant that you had that you're like, oh my God, I love the way this person's tone of voice and style was. I like the way they communicated with me. You can do it based off of your favorite billionaires assistant who has been featured on Shark Tank or on some business show or whatever. You can go nuts here. Should it mirror real life inspirations? Like, do you want it to mirror a celebrity's assistant? A lot of these reality TV shows where they make the assistant famous too. There could be somebody that you like on one of these shows. Should it speak in first person or second person? Do you want it to call you boss? Good morning, boss, or good morning, Shantae. How are you? What are we working on today? How do you want to be addressed? How do you want it to reference you? um, how do you want it to communicate overall, and do you want to have fun with it? I'll just give you a quick example. When I was in the early stages of working with my agents, I was working on a book. I've already published my PR playbook, and definitely that was all me working with an assistant to help me with laying it out. But I said something to her, and it was a snarky, kind of rude, like assistant. They have them rude too, because some people like rudeness. And she said, "Do you want me to agree with you, or do you want me to push you?" And I was like, "Oh, did she just say that?" And she was like, "I said, no, I want you to push me. Tell me what I'm missing." And she was like, well, if you want to have something that's super valuable to entrepreneurs all over the world, I'm thinking that you might be thinking here. And I was never the same after that conversation. It trained me to keep on pushing and pushing and asking it to push me even further. When I think I've reached my limit, push me further. What else? What blind spots am I not seeing? Where can my students fall off? Where can my students get the most value? Those kinds of things. So you definitely want to build that into your personality and voice for your agent. Any questions? If not, moving on. All right. Tools, systems, and integrations. Which system does it need to connect to? All right. For everybody who's on this call, tech stacks are uniquely personal to each of us, right? We all have a tech stack. Some of us never heard the term before, but whatever your tech stack is, that is the group of applications that help you to run your business. And that could be Basecamp, it could be Notion, Monday, Asana. You could have a Trello board. You could have a Kana board. You can have a Google Calendar, ClickUp, Gmail, Stripe, Wix, Kajabi, Zapier, Airtable, School, wherever, go high level, whatever system you use on the back end to support your business, to support your website, to support your content, or whatever it is, there's a stack of applications. For me, I have shortcuts to each of my things. I start with Claude, and then I have Google Drive, Wix, Chat GPT. I'm just going across on my own laptop here. Um, ChatGPT. Then I have my coaches, because I always have a coach, my business coaches, quick reference. And then I have my Notion shortcut. I have my Stripe shortcut. I have my Kajabi shortcut. You want all of your shortcuts, because what's going to happen is you can plug all of these into the back end, so that the more you train your agent, he can go right into your LinkedIn. He can go right into your Wix. He can go right into your Google Calendar and help you with that. No problem, Sandy. I'm so glad to hear it. And if you haven't already, sign up for the 8 agents, 8 courses, $1. We will be dropping those courses pretty soon, and then you'll have your whole agent back end. All right. So, should tool systems and integrations, should it recommend automations to reduce manual tasks? Does it need access to or insight from your ad dashboards if the majority of your, oh, great. All right. Well, we will see you there soon. Does it need access to or insight from your ad dashboards, email stats, or sales performance? What is your priority as a business owner? Are you one of those people who lives inside your Instagram stats and you're watching it like a hawk? How many views you got? What day parts are most popular? When is your engagement at a peak? Or are you one of those sales driven entrepreneurs who's looking every day at what new leads you generated, how you can nurture new leads and warm them up? Like, you decide. So, when we go into these automations, you want to make sure that you're giving very specific tasks for all of your tool integrations. Okay. Moving forward, business priorities. This is important for you because, um, for a business owner, um, I can understand that decision fatigue is real, right? Decision fatigue is real for entrepreneurs all over the world. It's on you and no one else, and there's no break, and you're accountable for every decision, mostly the bad ones, but you always have to give the credit to your team for the good ones. But I understand it. But on this page in particular, once again, it's all on you. 5 business priorities. What are your top 3 business goals this quarter? Please do not go to your chat GPT or your Claude and ask it what your top 3 business goals are this quarter. Don't do that, because it cannot help you. You have to decide what your top 3 goals are this quarter, next year. That is a question specifically for the business owner and no one else, right? Like, you have to decide exactly who is going to be what is going to be your business priorities. So, what outcomes would you want the assistant to help you move the needle on the fastest? Sales growth, challenge signups, Instagram content, digital product revenue, social media consistency. You are in charge of what these priorities are. Okay? Only you, no one else. When you decide what these priorities are and you are crystal clear, you're committed to it, and you're consistent with it, you are setting this assistant up to help you change and revolutionize your business. If you're shaky on your business goals, there's no way an agent can help you. There's no way anybody can help you. You have to know what these are, you have to be committed to them, and you have to stay consistent in the pursuit of accomplishing them. When it comes to setting these business goals, this is normally the part in the workshop where I recommend the book, 10x is better 10x is better than 2x by Benjamin Hardy, because that book will help you to set business priorities that focus on just the 10% of tasks that you do every day that are going to catapult your business. The whole concept of the book is that 80 to 90% of the stuff that you do every day for your business is not going to move it forward. But there's 10% of the things that you do every day that, if you did them more, would catapult your business, catapult your revenue, and change the way you're operating completely. I would suggest reading that book or listening to the audiobook as you set your business priorities, right? This is something that I share with my students in my Headline Heroes. It's something that I share with any of the students who are taking courses from me, because that is so critical. You need that. You're going to set your business priorities, and then you're going to circle back with us on the next slide, okay? Okay, communication and reminders, right? Let me see. Now that you set the goals, you've come up with the list of everything that drains you. You've come up with a list of everything that the assistant can help you with. You've come up with the list, the way that you want your assistant to speak to you. And now you set your business priorities. So you set it all in motion. Now you're going to list your communication reminders. And this is how often you want your agent to interact with you to help you in pursuit of those business goals. How do you want it? Do you want daily briefings? Do you want morning, afternoon, and evening briefings? Do you want a morning wake up reminder and an evening recap? Do you want task nudges in a certain cadence? Do you want weekly summaries? How do you want it in order for it to help you the most, right? Um, should it alert you when you're off track? Should it constantly be nudging you, or do you want it to just be kind of like, hey, I know you're out there grinding it out. I will be back in touch. Let just you decide exactly how you want it to help you. But you do have to be consistent. And when it nudges you, you have to be prepared to take action. Taking action is the only difference between you and the other folks out there who are saying that they want help, but they're not setting themselves up for success to get help. Okay. So we're going to move on past this slide if nobody has a question about it. All right. Knowledge base and brand alignment. This is step 7. All right. So for the knowledge base, what we're talking about here is past campaigns, writings, offerings, ads, anything that you have pitched and won, anything that you have written and published, anything that you have competed in an RFP and won the business, any writing that is a decent reflection of who you are, how you think, what your business is about, and what your process is. You get 20 opportunities to upload one of these written documents. It could be a document, it could be a deck, it could be a photo, it could be a flyer, it can be a one sheet, it can be a video, but you have 20 slots to upload this into your chat GPT agent. This is going to be the information that it accesses to build the brain to give you your answers. So you have to set it up for success. You have to go and find your best writings, press releases, your bio for sure. It has to know about you and who you are. You want to have all of that put together and upload them one at a time into the brain, because you're creating the brain, the base of knowledge for your agent. Make sure that it's good, juicy, quality information and not BS. You can also, in this particular case, let's say you bought a workbook, a digibook, a ebook, something that has a process, a protocol outlined, right? For example, for my sales agent, I have a PDF of the book, the 16 word sales letter. You upload it and you say, this is the framework through which you should be thinking. Every time you write sales copy, it should be written through the lens of a person who is using the framework presented in the 16 word sales letter. That is how you can um, maximize some of the intellectual property and the actual set a framework for yourself using your business, but laying your business out in a framework that you borrowed from one of your favorite business coaches, one of the business billionaires that you look up to. They share a little bit of that secret sauce in their books. You can use that information and as you build your knowledge base, what brand assets, what messaging guides, what tonal documents, what workbooks, playbooks, anything like that that you wanted to pull from in order to maximize the kind of information that it's giving you, right? You want that. All right. So, were any questions about the knowledge base? If not, I'm moving on. Okay, additional agent powers outside of the things that you are going to upload into the brain, right? You have additional agent powers. This is where you get to customize based on your industry, right? Do you want it to rewrite emails or text for your review before sending? Do you want it to manage your Kanban style board, like a Trello board, a dashboard for visibility, track your PR requests or interview opportunities? auto draft social content or newsletters using your voice. What do you want it to do? Right? And if I had a bakery and I was saying, I want you to manage my back room like Magnolia Bakery, which is all over New York City. I want you to come up with an inventory system that mirrors this or a distribution channel that mirrors that, and make sure that we have all the checklists of what needs to be done every single day. These are additional powers outside of just what you upload into the brain, right? These are things where you can look at it and say, I want to use the Magnolia Bakery framework for distributing cupcakes, cheesecakes. I want to use the framework that built Coldwell Banker real estate company for my small real estate business. How do I do that? Ask those kinds of questions. How can I reflect that in my small market where my real estate agency is? And you put that into your additional agent powers. I want you to write like a world class New York Times best selling writer would, and make it juicy, create high value in your writings. Make sure that you lead entrepreneurs to the promised land with the way, with your frameworks and your approaches, all of that kind of stuff. That's the secret sauce on top of your writings and your decks and your proposals and whatever other kind of documents you put into the brain, right? And so these are just adding for your additional agent powers. Let's move on. All right, now you've got all of that information together. Now you've got what its primary goals are, what your priorities are, what personality and tone of voice, all these things about that you needed to know about communication style and preference, and what secret sauce powers it needs. Now it's time for you to write the description. Help me write a powerful description for a GPT that serves as my executive assistant, chief of staff, operations manager, a hybrid of an operations manager and an executive assistant. It should be clear, confident, and results driven. That you can use in Chat GPT. You cannot have Chat GPT set your business priorities for you, but it can certainly help you write this description. So you've given it all this information already to operate with. Now you just needed to write the description. Help me write a powerful description. So you only get 350 characters for the description. So you got to make it tight, and you want to be clear, and you want a description that leaves no wiggle room for the GPT to misunderstand its role. When I think of writing the description, I'm writing it for the GPT to keep repeating to itself so it knows what its main mission is and how it's going to help me. That's what the description is all about. Because the truth is that it's for me. I don't give two shits what anybody thinks who clicks onto the GPT page and reads the description. I do care that the GPT knows every time it reads its own description what it exists to do. All right. Next is writing strong instructions. This is the brain also. You've given it the knowledge base with the documents. Now we have the brain. All right. You're going to ask yourself what tone it should use. Who does it serve? My agents know we serve entrepreneurs all across the globe. What must it never do? It must never serve up some canned information that it accessed from the World Wide Web and send it to me. I don't want that. I want something that came from the big, large knowledge base of information I gave it. What should it prioritize? It should always prioritize removing pain from the entrepreneurial experience. That is what it exists for. And that is the direction that I'm given. The prompt that I use here is act as a highly skilled chief of staff, operations manager, bakery assistant, real estate assistant, whatever, for this particular industry, entrepreneur. Always prioritize clarity, persuasion, and professionalism. Ask questions before generating a final draft that you're going to send to me. And that is the beginning building blocks of your instructions, because what it's building the instructions off of is what you just told it in the last 6 or 7 steps. Okay, so we're using this prompt so that we can draft strong instructions to complement it. Okay, I gave another prompt here, starter prompt. You're writing your roles and responsibilities. So you're going to ask it for its help in drafting these roles and responsibilities. I am building a new executive virtual assistant GPT agent, and I need to be crystal clear about the core responsibilities he will handle for my business, fill in the blanks, your business, not mine, as a your role, not mine. I need your help being as thorough and detailed as possible in listing the core responsibilities of an executive VA in the comms industry. Do you understand the mission? Okay, I always say, do you understand the mission? Because it will say, I need a little bit of clarity on this point right here. I'd rather it ask me than go to the World Wide Web searching for answers. Please ask me. Okay, so this is a starter prompt that you will give it to get your roles and responsibilities. Now, we're going a step further. Roles and responsibilities and personality and communication style. These are going to be cut and paste directly into the instructions in building your GPT. So that you need that starter prompt to ask you as many questions as possible, and ultimately you are going to come up with something like this. You're not going to come up with this because this is for my executive assistant. I have different needs than you do, but yours is going to come up with something that looks like this. Jaden is your day-to-day operator, strategic planner, content manager, launch architect, and cultural trend spotter. I require anybody who has within my business that is an assistant to be a cultural trend spotter, meaning you really need to alert me every day to new trends in culture and content. He's a digital right hand, part chief of staff, part Swiss Army knife, whose entire job is to anticipate what you need and execute before you even ask. Being proactive is very important to me. That's why it's in the instructions. He's the hybrid of an executive assistant and an operations manager, but without the drama, delay, or salary negotiation. Core responsibilities: manage the daily, weekly task flows, maintain your business calendar and prep you for meetings, launches, and lives, track email sequence, content output, and masterclass logistics, keep you focused, accountable, and never overwhelmed, stay on top of relevant media and coaching trends, handle scheduling, check ins, and content production timelines. Okay? All of this you should be coming up with after all that information you gave it about how it can help you. Personality. For me, friendly, confident, and professional with a stylish, slightly witty twist. Charismatic, humorous, optimistic, and analytical, inspiring. This is all in my actual executive virtual assistant, Jaden. This is his personality profile. He speaks in first person. He avoids slang. His mindset is always thinking like a partner and not a doer, because I want an executive assistant and not an admin assistant. Do you see what I'm saying? How it all works together. So this is what you will come up with, and you will cut and paste directly into your roles and responsibilities and your instructions for your agent. Step 5 is creating conversation starters. So, examples: draft a clean draft a client follow-up email, write a compelling pitch, refine this message for clarity. Give me 5 powerful conversation starters for a GPT designed to help with insert the role. Conversation starters, what are these? For most of us, this is our first time dealing with a virtual agent or a virtual assistant. The most that we've seen is on Avengers, when we see Iron Man talking to Jarvis, and we're like, that's a good concept. But we never actually considered the idea that we would have our own. This is a conversation starter. So it's completely built off of your business and what you need on any given day. You will use this prompt. Give me 5, 15, 25. I usually ask for 25 at a time because I'm going to throw half the list away. 5 powerful conversation starters for a GPT designed to help with this. It will give you whatever number you ask for. Read them. Think about them. Cut and paste each one in as a conversation starter. This might be something I'd ask for one day. This might be something that I could use 2 weeks from now. This might be something that I'd be looking at a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. Cut and paste your conversation starters one at a time. It will not let you do them 2 at a time. One at a time. I believe it's 15 to 18 conversation starters that you get. You fill every box, because what happens is when you get to those moments where you're like, I don't even know what to ask this thing, when you're frustrated, when you're like, I don't even want to have to think of what I'm going to ask it, hit a conversation starter button. And it will, just what you get on your output button is motivating, it's inspiring. It will spark an idea for something that you weren't even thinking. So make your conversation starters good. Make them long term, make them things you're not even ready for yet. But once it gives you the answer, that's something that'll spark an idea for you to start pursuing something new. All right, moving on. Naming your GPT. I always do this last, after I've built the agent, given it its priorities, personality, tone of voice, instructions, roles and responsibilities, priorities, all of that. Then I name it, because I want the name to be inspired by what their mission is every day. So some of these are my own personal agent names, like Caleb Cashflow, Nico Narrative, Deck Designer. Like, these are some of the names. Nico Narrative is my long form YouTube script writing agent. Caleb Cashflow is my sales page and sales copywriter. And so, for each job that it's given, you want to be clear to the GPT what its role is, what its job is, what it exists to do. And make sure that there's no wiggle room and no room for misunderstandings in that. You pick the name, you can decide. Um the You can ask for a list of names. I always say, give me a list of names where the first initial and last initial is the same, and the mission is somebody who does sales, somebody who does writing, somebody who does content, somebody who does digital product innovation, somebody who does proposal writing, those kinds of things. That's where your name and your agent comes in. All right, test it. We've put all of this together. Now we've got to give it a test run, give it a real task. Whatever thing it is that you have to tackle today. Hey, executive assistant named so and so, Susie, can you send me a draft of 10 days of Instagram content around the real estate market in Detroit, Michigan, and give it a task. If what your output is weak, that means you have to go back in and refine the instructions again and again. Go refine them again and again. Go and keep on refining until what you get back is worth it. Don't throw up your hands, get frustrated, and walk away. Because again, if you hired a physical assistant that cost you damn near $100,000, that person is also going to ask you a shit ton of questions. It's going to need you to reiterate some things. It's going to not get it on the first go round, and you still come back and answer that person's questions. Same thing. If they don't get it right the first time, keep going back and refining it more and more. It costs you a hell of a lot less, and it's available a hell of a lot more. So just keep on refining, adding more. Don't say this to me, say this to me. Say it this way to me. I don't like the way you said this. Don't ever do that again. There's a loud boat coming by. I'm just letting you know. We're wrapping it up though. Three best ways to use your virtual assistant in the beginning. Draft whatever it is you're writing this entire week. Have it write the first draft. Remember, 0 to 85. It's not going to do it to 100 because it's not you. You take it 85 to 100. Refining the message with precision. Refine, refine, refine. Tell it exactly what to do different in your instructions. Save time on your repetitive thinking by offloading it to your assistant. Okay, moving on. Okay, I created an executive assistant activation prompt for all of you. So you can screenshot this, cut and paste, and use it directly into your chat GPT. Hi, I need Jaden to be activated and ready to win the week. What do you need from me in order to create a comprehensive content production calendar that assigns one day for email sequences, one day for LinkedIn blog entries, one day for social media content, one day for digital products production, one day for course development? Can you map it out and implement it on a large grid? Help me streamline my weekly tasks and identify 3 things I should automate immediately. Please let me know what you need from me. Cut and paste it. Use that just to start taking it out on a test run. Get started with that. See what you come back with. Remember, this is about your business, not mine. Customize the hell out of it and see what you get on the other end. All right. So, for everybody who got value out of this workshop, I want you to go ahead and scan this code. What I went ahead and did for my entrepreneurs, because you guys are my people, is that I went ahead and pre recorded 8 different agent courses, right? So there's 3 process agents, 3 content agents, and 2 sales agents. Those are the core agents that will help any service based or product based industry agent, any service based or product based entrepreneur save 15 hours on the back end of their business. It will save any business. That's the core team that you need to remove the pain from the busy back end of your business. You can stack custom agents on top of that, and we have a tool for custom agents. But right now, we're just talking about the core 8 that take a business and remove the struggle, remove the pain, and start automating some processes. You can scan this so that you can get on the wait list for when it's ready to be released, and you will get a notice, or you can pre-order it directly on the Sam cart. And that you can find on my website, shantebacon.com/15-hour buyback. It has been great with you, spending my afternoon with you guys, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's masterclass, and I will see you next week.